The family that vacations together stays together. At least, that was the plan. Except now, the dastardly desk clerk is saying he can't confirm your connecting rooms.
Wait, what?
That's right, ma'am. You have rooms 201 and 709.
No, we cannot be 5 floors away from our kids.
The doors have double locks. They'll be fine.
When you want connecting rooms confirmed before you arrive, it matters where you stay.
Welcome to Hilton. I see your connecting rooms are already confirmed.
Hilton, for the stay.
Wish you could become a morning person? You know the type, up before the sun, early morning runs, first one to the office with donuts and a smile. How do they do it? Easy. With the new Galaxy Watch 8, sleep tracking and personalized insights from Samsung Health help you improve so you can wake up to a whole new you. One who, dare I say it, skips the snooze? It's possible. Train your sleep with Galaxy Watch 8. Learn more at Samsung.com. Requires compatible Samsung Galaxy phone, Samsung Health app, and Samsung account.
Hello, my name is Damon Friedman, co-founder and president of SOF Missions. As a 20-year veteran within Special Operations, I've gone through many challenges due to my military service and time in combat. We felt called to start SOF Missions to serve our fellow brothers and sisters in arms, focusing on suicide prevention and resiliency. Our mission at SOF Missions is to empower warriors to find purpose and be resilient. Since 2011, when we started the organization, almost 3 million men and women have deployed to Iraq and Afghanistan. Unfortunately, the scars of war take a toll on their psychological, physical, social, and spiritual health. Many veterans feel a sense of hopelessness and a loss of purpose when they return to civilian life. They feel isolated and alone, unable to reconnect. And in the greatest of tragedies, over 20 veterans lose all hope and take their own lives. Our goal at...
All right. Welcome back.
Misfit Nation. The Misfit Nation Show.
We are a show founded by a veteran and hosted by 2 veterans and a military spouse. Our mission is to get people to tell their stories to the world. If you're an author, share your tips with the Misfit Nation. If you're a musician or an actor, our audience needs to know how they too can get into the business. Coaches, we love our coaches. Come on and share your tips with the Misfit Nation to help them become better versions of themselves. If you are a corporate leader or an entrepreneur, come on and show how you did it and how hard you have fought for success. If you are a veteran, first responder, or Gold Star family, we would love to have you come on and share your story with the Misfit Nation. We always have time for you. If you're feeling down, alone, or starting to see the darkness, stop. Think about those who are around you. You are not alone. You will be missed. If you feel like your problems will be a burden to those in your inner circle or feel embarrassed, dial 988. If you are a veteran, take option 1. We need you to keep pushing forward. Don't make a permanent solution to a temporary problem. If you are a new listener, welcome to the Misfit Nation Show. Be sure to subscribe to our show on your favorite podcast app. Also on our YouTube channel at @the_Misfit Nation. Subscribe and click the bell to keep you up to date on our latest episodes and all of our news. You can also find us on Heroes Media Group and About Face Radio. Now, let's get to the show!
All right. It's Tuesday. The crew is live, and we have some announcements for you tonight. Tonight, we remember parole agent Joshua Lamont Bird, California Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation, and to watch July 17th, 2025, also a Navy veteran. Detective Joshua Kelly Eklund, Detective Victor Lemus, Detective William Osborne, all of the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department, California, end of watch Friday, July 18th, 2025. Let's keep them in your thoughts and prayers and their communities as they go through this a tough time of sudden loss and sudden change of life circumstances. Now, it's time. It's Tuesday night where the stories are unmatched. They're raw, the laughs are real, and the energy comes at you from all angles. This ain't your average podcast. This is the ToosDay Crue. Coming in hot with real talk, bold guests, zero filters, veterans, misfits, rebels, and game changers. If you've got grit, if you've got resilience, and a story worth telling, this is your house. Tonight, we raise our voices, our stories, and our spirits in honor of the Prince of Darkness, the legend himself, Ozzy Osbourne. From chaos came art, from madness came music, and from the shadows came a voice that made generations feel understood. This one's for the rebels, the wild hearts, the misfits who never fit in and never wanted to. This is the ToosDay Crue, where we talk grit, pain, glory, and coming home to who you really are. Rest in power, Ozzy. Tonight, we ride with you. ToosDay Crue, let's get loud. Let's get real. Let's go, boys.
Good evening, everybody. It's
Good
Tuesday.
evening, ToosDay Crue. Yes, again, Rip Ozzy. You will be missed. You will be missed. How was your day off today, Stephen?
It was good. You got back from your trip and you're all settled at home then?
Yeah, that was the hardest part coming back. But man, I drove through some beautiful country. I drove through the Smoky Mountain National Forest between Cherokee, North Carolina, and Gatlinburg, Tennessee. And brother, it was beautiful. I highly recommend that trip. And I'll go into it later. But my granddaughter got all kind of awards and stuff at her beauty pageant that she was at over in Cherokee. I have to say she gets none of her looks and talent from me, so don't even go there.
Oh, so she doesn't buff her?
So, hey, man, we got a great guest doing great things coming on tonight. His name's Mark Baylis. He's a retired Special Forces Sergeant Major. He got out in 2007 due to medical issues, and then, you know, he didn't let it get him down. He grabbed the bull by the horns, and he's the founder and CEO of the VALOR Clinic Foundation. I did a bunch of research on it. Some of the great things they do. So without any further ado, let's get Mark in here.
Good evening, Mark.
Good evening, Mark.
Thank you for having me on the show. It's an honor. I'm grateful to be here.
Hey, I tell you what, it's an honor for us to have you. I read through your foundation's website, just looking at some of the stuff that y'all do. And I come up with some questions I'm going to ask you about that. And hopefully our listeners have some questions for you. But I was just taken aback at, you know, all the things that you guys are accomplishing there, especially locally in Pennsylvania where you're at. And wow. And so I didn't give much of a biography on you. I told everybody you was in the Special Forces and you retired out of the Army. Won't you fill in some blanks for us and kind of tell us a little bit about yourself?
You know, my formative years were in the 2nd Ranger Battalion. I was very proud of my time there, and then I did 2 tours each in 1st, 5th, and 7th groups. And my first sergeant time was at the Special Warfare Center, and you know, it's an adventurous life when you do all that time active duty and about any part of the special ops community you go into. But I was no stranger to deploying in an assortment of places. And but when I got out hurt, and I think I pissed off some people on the way out the door, and they round filed my retirement papers. So I landed out in the civilian world basically with no income. And once my savings were used up, it was a little bit of a struggle. I got to see the way the privates get out when they're hurt, and then of course it all got straightened out. My VA claim was settled. My retirement papers got straightened out, and everything was fine. But I got a pretty good snapshot of how hard we are on the young troops, particularly when we put them out hurt. I had to drive multiple times a week between 45 minutes and an hour to the VA hospital to get care. And they were, because I wasn't service connected yet, even though I was medically discharged for injuries received in combat. They hadn't, until their review process is over, they don't recognize those things. And they decide your eligibility for health care on your previous year's income. And I was a sergeant major in a community where I got a bunch of special pays. So I had a really good income my last year in the military. And so they were billing me for my health care, and I had no income. I tried to apply for unemployment, and they said, "You've got a retirement check. We can't give you unemployment." So I was in a little bit of a corner, and but good comes from it. I got some perspective from the floor, and started volunteering in a local food pantry, and there was a lot of veterans coming through the line, and started asking questions. And then when people realized I was trying to help the ones in the food pantry line, about 9 or 10 o'clock one night, I remember it was dark, somebody showed up at my door in the middle of the woods, and I didn't grow up around here. I didn't hardly know anybody here. So who the hell was coming to my door in the dark in the middle of the woods? So I went to the door with a 45 behind my back, and it turned out to be one of the ladies volunteering at the food pantry, and she was asking me to help some homeless vet. And I'd never helped a homeless vet in my life, and I was kind of taken aback. I was like, "Well, what the hell do you want me to do for him? I don't know what to do." And he's not coming living here, I promise you. But kind of is about how the conversation was going. And then, but I promised her in the end that I'd meet her the next day at the food pantry, and we'd go find this vet again. And so I just started making phone calls and door knocking, and that was 2008 or so. Might have been late 2007, but it was probably 2008 or so. And anyway, the long and the short is last year we helped 3,761 veterans. Most of them were homeless veterans, and we have counseling programs. And the truth changed quick. It's kind of wearing me out, to be candid. It's become a behemoth of workload, and but the good news is good comes from it, and the team of people that have stepped up to work for free and give sweat equity, or resources like Kansas Stew or Pairs of Pants, or has made me cry more than once with I can't believe the people around me. I wish I could take more credit for this, but I really can't. There's probably 800 people a year that take the gloves off to fight this battle of veteran homelessness and veteran suicide for no pay. And I often tell people we don't have a lot of money, but we got a lot of give a shit, and a little give a shit goes a long way. And but anyway, I probably rambled more than you wanted to hear.
Oh, hey, no,
hey.
this is your show to get your information out there. I've got this shared across a bunch of my social media platforms, as does Steven, as does our producer Rich. We're live on Facebook, and I tell you what, there's going to be people that see this. Matter of fact, I'm going to tell everybody right now, hey, if y'all want to find out more about the VALOR Clinic, go to https and then the colon and the 2 backslashes, valorclinic.org. If you get on there, you're going to see how to contact them, how to send donations, how to, if you live in the area, or you know what? There's something very rewarding about taking a week of vacation, driving up there and doing, throwing up your own little tent and just helping veterans for a week. That is very, very fulfilling. And I'm a firm believer that if you help people for the right reasons, help will come to you. And,
Amen.
you'll never have to ask for that help. It will just come to you. And Mark, I did some reading. Like I said, I did a bunch of reading and everything. Found out
Hope
that you
didn't put you to sleep.
Excuse me?
Hope it didn't put you to sleep.
No, it did. It did not. It did not. And I'll also put up, if you want to contact the VALOR Clinic, it's info@valorclinic.org, and you ask them questions about whatever. And I found out just reading through their website, they're pretty transparent. They've got good scores and a lot of stuff as far as nonprofits go. And just to talk a little bit more about Mark, he is the founder and CEO. He has an AAS from Vincennes University, a BS in history from the University of the State of New York. And I'm sure he's taken all this and using it to push things as the CEO. But here's some facts about the organization itself. No executives, meaning the board, are paid. They're all volunteers. One paid employee. We're not going to talk about that right now, Mark, because we're going to talk about that separately here in a bit. They have an overhead of 7%. So that means 93% of anything that you donate is probably going to go doing the right thing. It's an all volunteer workforce. They've got about a 95% success rate. And this here's the big one, because, you know, Misfit Nation, how we hate suicide and how we love to push for people to see another day. 0 suicides among people in the Veterans Unstoppable program. So, Mark, why don't you talk to us a little bit about the Veterans Unstoppable program and why it works?
You know, I should have gathered some references I could hold up where people could see them. But at first, I wasn't sure it was going to work. Quite frankly, the way we get into this is I'm helping the homeless and the hungry in the food pantry line, and studying on my own how to do VA claims. And every time I do a disability claim for a homeless or an unemployed veteran, it had a mental health entry. So I started asking questions about how's that going for you? I didn't know much about the suicide problem yet, I must confess. And although I'd lost a series of friends to suicide on active duty, it hadn't dawned on me that it was a big epidemic in the military community as a whole. But so with that as the backdrop, I start talking with them, and I keep hearing the recurring theme that they don't like their options, and so they're not getting health care on the mental health topic. I would hope that some of the people in the audience are having a better experience than that. We have noticed an improvement in some of the comments about outside programs since 2008, 2009. But in 2012, we were a little frustrated. For probably 2010 and 11, we started sending vets to alternative therapies, networking, getting them in places for free, and debriefing them when they came back. Hey, how'd that one work? What'd you think of this place? What'd you think of that? And we weren't quite finding an answer that everybody was completely happy with. We heard pieces of one and pieces of another. And that's about the time that I reach out to a friend of mine, Tony Cross, the guy we found Valor with. He wrote all the lessons for CMIS, which is basically a first responder immediate contact system for when they have severe events while they're responding, and that could cause emotional problems or PTSD for them. And he was a lead counselor for a Christian-based, faith-based counseling place that serviced only first responders and military families. And so I reached out to him. I said, "Hey, Tony, I'm helping the homeless ones, and I'm doing the claim stuff to get them in the system to help, but I don't have a background in this whole counseling thing. What do you say you and I join forces? We start an organization that does both because they're inseparable." And he says, "Okay, let's do it." And yeah, so he was supposed to be the mental health side, and I was going to be the homeless and the get into the system, we'll call it, side, filing for benefits. And then he ran into some life challenges with employment and couldn't stay active. And that's only important because then I had to figure out how to do the mental health side too, and started looking for a facility first, and stumbled on a facility. I call her the genius hippie lady, but Dr. Sylvia LaFair has wrote a bunch of books, and we still use one of her books core in our program. It's called Don't Bring It to Work. And anyway, so we start looking to get grants to buy this facility in Whitehaven, Pennsylvania. And her husband agrees to a contract for us to use to an enclosure and doesn't tell his wife, Sylvia, the doctor. And she gets mad and demands a meeting. Thinking back at it, looking back, it makes me laugh. But so we have to have this meeting with all the realtors, and Herb, her husband, and Sylvia being angry. This short 80-year-old angry doctor woman, right? And we start out, and she's making all these demands, and I don't like this contract, and then she asks out of the blue, angrily to me, "And what are you going to do with this place anyway?" And so I told her, and she goes, "Oh my God, this place has to be something special, and you're it. Oh my God, we're going to do this." And the seeing Sylvia, remembering her, is, I can't make it funny like she was at the time, but it was humorous to me. Probably not to her. But anyway, so she invites me to learn her program to see if we want to make a model off of it to help vets. And so I agree. I haven't researched it, but I agree because it's an easier way to get to yes than fighting. And I start going through her program that is a completely different than I expected. She does like a business version of almost equivalent of family counseling with executives. And the whole thing is based on the cycle of the science of trauma. When traumatic events hit, it elevates your protectionist behaviors, and then your protectionist behaviors become caustic to relationships and for lack of a better term, make you a little bit of an asshole, right? And yes. Well, it is what it is. We can't escape what it is. And
I concur.
Well, it is what it is. And if you can, how those behaviors will be different for Stephen than they are for me, than they are for you, and which is all okay, because Stephen's protectionist behaviors for how he guards himself from being hurt are different than the way you do it and different than the way I do it. But when we see things, we will get, and in the case of the veterans, we have a tendency to get our protectionist behaviors, make no mistake, people die, right? And we have a tendency to have our PTSD not let us overlook little things, and it creates a lot of crisis in the home. It creates a argument type of crisis in the home, and a lot of crisis at work where they get fired more than civilians, get divorced more than civilians. How many of you have done an on-the-spot correction in the military? I'll bet you have too, Stephen. But the reality is,
in the military.
when you do on-the-spot corrections in the civilian world, those don't go over very well. And
no, they don't.
They don't. Well, and so the big thing we learned is the sequence of how trauma affects behavior, affects relationships. Hold the thought. Relationships are the money here. And most people don't realize I never would have, I was the chairman of the Health Benefits Committee for the State Veterans Commission of Pennsylvania for 4 years. And if you'd have told me going into that assignment that I would have known that I would have thought somebody's going to come in, and when they talk about PTSD and the suicide problem, they're going to talk to me about military behaviors and the way they're different than civilian behaviors, and why we can't fix the problem is that our behaviors are different, and civilians don't understand the shift. They understand the science line. They don't understand how we behave to know what our protectionist behaviors are well enough to disrupt the line. So we're still getting treated like civilians in the psychotherapy world, and our path is different. There's a social conflict problem that's greater than a mental health problem. And so hold that thought. Enter the CDC. I wish I had the little chart here. I'd show it up for you. But the CDC did a study in 2018 that is still widely referenced in suicide studies, and they looked at everybody. But the important lines are the military lines, going across from left to right, and the down lines of with a mental health problem, without a mental health problem. And when you intersect with a mental health problem, without a mental health problem, the interesting statistic is that civilians have more than 50% mental health problem among their suicide victims, and the veterans have about a third have a mental health problem, and 2/3 do not. It's a huge shift. And the next thing you learn is if you go to the data where they track the different types of ways of suicide and what they call the circumstances surrounding suicide, guess what in the CDC's data is number one on reason for suicide? That you can do upstream interventions, because there's something called a life crisis that you can't really plan for or change the path of. Relationship collapse. Relationship collapse. Holy shit, Batman. And so we go into this deal with Sylvia LaFair, and she's teaching me how this works because she wants to make a blended program where I teach her about veterans and she teaches me about mental health and therapy, and that together we can form this great program together and go forward. And I learned she doesn't understand veterans, but she understands that cycle of trauma really well. And I'm not familiar with the CDC yet. So we have a conversation. I think she's onto something, but I'm not sure. We brought together 15 people and made a control group, practice group. And we introduced them to Sylvia's techniques for therapy. So we had veterans from every conflict from the Korean War to present at the time, including El Salvador, the drug war, all of them, Desert Storm, Vietnam, Afghanistan, Iraq, male, female. We had a social worker from the VA. We had a woman that worked for the Care Coalition at SOCOM, overseeing the discharge of wounded vets and their experience systemically. We had two abused children, now adult children of PTSD vets that came home from Vietnam, and the perspective on the family. And we ran this control group of these people. And I think I learned the most from the young MP that was in the turret on a Humvee escorting fuel convoys through Baghdad when the roadside bombs were going off. Young woman, 19 or 20 years old, driving a 50 caliber machine gun into war. What an interesting dynamic that is. But we got to the end and said, hey, do you think it could help vets? And every one of them raised their hand, yes, but that it had to be modified. And then we went to work for 2 years working with the doctor, trying to figure out how to modify it, and made a modified veteran version. We created new tools that didn't exist, and a really old school, lots of tenure, lots of success tool that therapists use is called a genogram. And Sylvia did the genogram thing hard. You learn about the traumas in your youth and how they affected you, what you learned from your parents and your environment, family culture crisis, and then how those shaped the way you saw the world, affected the way you changed, affected the way you interacted with people, and why you're probably having problems now as the tool to identify how trauma from your past affects your future. And once you know that, you can change it and move forward, and your relationships get better. But there was no tool to do your military stuff. So we built what we call the military timeline. Was one of the big changes. We do a lot of stuff with toxic exposure. The brain works on chemicals. And if your chemicals are out of balance because you have all these foreign chemicals you're not supposed to have, guess what? That shit ain't going to work right. Just a little bit of common sense there. And the long-term malaria prophylaxis has impacts on mental health, like depression. It creates an atmosphere where you can get yeast infections, and Candida albicans are well documented to cause brain inflammation, and brain inflammation is well documented to cause depression. And so we teach some dietary things and some relationship classes, and do the family tree and the military timeline to learn about your traumas and how you can take control of your traumas instead of them controlling you. Don't let your past control your future. And then we finish up building a 10-part life plan with using a book by Hyatt called Your Best Year Ever. And I forget his first name off the top of my head, but his last name's Hyatt, Hyatt. And but a great book. And they build a 10-part life plan. They make 3 goals and 3 tasks to accomplish each goal, to put purpose and direction back in their life and lead themselves through life. So once they've got their arms around their trauma, they've made new friends. You get them out, and the groups stay in touch for years, and then rebuild a little purpose and direction back in their life. You'd be surprised how well they do with the combination. And we introduce something called healthy lifestyle changes, but they're fly fishing and archery hunting, and equip them for those things to use going forward. And we have get-together events for fishing and hunting where they can all come back, or they're allowed to come back and revisit a retreat class if they think they're getting a little off center and might need a refresher. But it's been remarkably effective, and I kind of skimmed over it, really. How do you talk about 3 really intense weekends in just a few minutes and get the whole point across? But anyone in your audience is welcome to join me the first weekend in August, where we have a full week-long class later in August, but shortly after the middle of the month. They're welcome to join us. It's free. We put them up at our retreat center. We have a 200-acre campus with a series of houses in the woods that we've kind of made lodges and dorm cabin kind of living conditions while they're with us. We feed them free. Everything's free. Just come and promise us one thing, that you're important enough to work on yourself. And as long as they're willing to do that, we'll bend over backwards. We have a Vietnam vet counselor who lost 4 feet of his intestine to shrapnel in Vietnam. I did 3 tours in the drug war, 3 tours as an advisor into Cambodia, 1 as an advisor into northern India, the initial invasion of Afghanistan, the Thunder Run into Baghdad, another tour into Baghdad, the invasion of Panama. There is no shortage. There is no shortage of experience to have seen hard times in our facilitator group, and nobody's going to look down at you. We have probably somebody that has had a very similar experience to you, that maybe your best way to find your road home is to walk the road with somebody that's walked it. And we're there if they need us. We don't want anything from them except a little effort. All the books are free. All the places to stay are free. All the food's free. All our effort is free. All the volunteers are unpaid. There's a lot of give a shit in the room, and if you're willing to give a shit about yourself, we're willing to give a shit about you. So come on out, and we're about 500 vets through that retreat program now, and they're all still alive. We haven't awesome. With the exception of illness, and 2 that OD'd on vodka. I don't know what it is about vodka, but they drank so much their stomach started bleeding and they bled to death in their sleep. we're looking to expand into substance abuse. We're not all the way there yet, but we're working on that as we speak.
Well, Godspeed to you on all that. And, that's some pretty good stuff. Got a question come up here from Ryan Holland. Mark,
Absolutely.
Do you work closely with local VFWs or American Legions?
Absolutely.
And he said he's been working with the local VFW, and they have been helping him tremendously.
Yes, we do.
Go ahead.
I think he froze up.
Uh-oh. Well, hey, I'll just add on in there that, just judging by his name, I'm sure Mr. Holland probably needs quite a bit of help. He can be
I would think so. Definitely looking at you.
He can be a little scatterbrained at times. Mark, you still with us? Oh, looks like he popped out. Well, hey, let's recap a little bit about what he was talking about. He was talking about the Veterans Unstoppable program and what they built a program from the ground up and tested it, had a test bed, got it up there, and now he says they've helped over 500 veterans and they've got almost 100% success rate on it. They've had some die of sickness, and a few have died of, alcohol overdose, but they saved. Hey, Frank, how's it going? They saved 500 people.
That's amazing.
That's a lot of folks.
Yeah.
And that's just, they're doing great things. And I suggest to anybody out there listening, go to their website, valorclinic.org, and check out what they're doing. If you can lend them a hand. And he was saying, they take donations of old clothes. They take donations of food. And here's the thing. I was reading some reviews. First of all, I only found one bad one, and it was just somebody bitching to be bitching. Okay. I'm calling it.
There's always the one.
There's always the one. But I'm going to go down through here, and I'm going to quote these people by name just in case they might be listening. 10 steps up from any vet establishment. And that was by Mr. Nelson Albert. That's what he quoted in his, 10 steps up from any veteran establishment. And then Brian Gallagher says it's the best kept secret for local veterans. So apparently these are two veterans that they have helped, and they really like it. Again, it's valorclinic.org. And if you want to donate to them, you can donate money, you can donate clothes. And one of the things that they put up there about their donations, this was a comment about their donations. If you donate to them, those donations, because a lot of places will take donations, then they'll sell them for a profit. No, these donations go directly from, they get gone through, they get cleaned and separated and done all that. Then they go directly to the people who need them. That's it. They don't sell them to other organizations. They go directly to who needs them. And this place is doing great things.
And that's fantastic. I was going to ask him, hopefully he comes back, but the people they help, once they get settled, get their life going, do they come back and actually help the next person?
Well, it says here he's got a 95%.
It's just amazing, the work.
95% vet rate with their success rate with the vets that they help. And something else that I was talking about when we were talking about his, is he going to pop up here again?
I hope so. There he is.
Okay, Mark, you back?
Yeah,
Welcome
my
back.
computer just crashed. My screen went blank, and you guys were gone. I was like, what the hell? Sorry it took so long to get it open again.
That's
Well, we
all
was up
right.
here, hey, we was up here talking bad about you for all that. No, no, we were talking bad about you.
I'd have been talking
We were
bad
just-
about me.
Well, I was just going through some stuff that I found online about your program, and I read some reviews, and I will say I found one bad one, but I looked through it, and that was just somebody just bitching to be bitching.
Yep.
But one I found, and I'm quoting these, it's from a Mr. Nelson Albert. It says, 10 steps up from any veteran establishment. And he gave you a 5 out of 5 on that. And then Brian Gallagher, best kept secret for local vets. So there's, 2 out of, I think that there was like 90 or 100 some reviews on there. I was scanning through them today, and they all basically say the same thing, that y'all are the best thing since sliced bread. So, so apparently you're doing great things out there. And my next question that I was going to get in, well, here, we got another question that popped in. From Elvis Lives 23, what leadership traits do you think translate best from special forces to civilian life?
I call it listen to the smart guy. And it applies same to smart gal. In fact, some of my best advisors are women. I want to put that up there, but you get the smart people together on a topic and ask them what they think. You don't ask the mechanic how to fix the computer. You go to the people smart on the computers and go, hey, what are we going to do about our IT stuff? And I try to gather the smart people on a topic and then follow their advice. No sense having smart people if you're not going to listen to them. So A teams work that way. You have 2 engineers and 2 weapons people, 2 communicators, 2 medics, an intel guy, the warrant kind of work together. The team sergeant, the commander kind of work together. And you get the smart people to tell you, and then the other people put common sense against it, but you leave the smart people guiding the smart part, and get the experience and common sense to make the smart part better. And we've been using it out here. It's not always perfect with volunteers, but it's gone good enough that we've grown exponentially, and it's been an honor to be allowed to still stand in the front. I'm sure we brought some higher ranking people to the board, and we brought a 2-star general in as an advisor too, so I'm sure there'll be some changes of direction coming. But I'm glad they're still willing to let me guide the ship, and it's a tremendous honor. The people that get this stuff done are amazing people. You'd love to meet them all.
Yeah. Now, do you have much of a turnaround from, say, a homeless veteran comes to you looking for help? You get them help. You get them the behavioral health, the mental health that they need.
Yeah, and we do our programs with them for mental health. A lot of them are unhappy. When there's if we start hearing, we have some triggers we watch for. I'm not going to say them out loud, but we have some triggers we watch for where we'll take them up to the resident and turn them over to we call it there's a difference between a broken wire and a bad mood. And you got to be able to tell the difference between when it's time for drugs and when it's time to work through some emotional pain or grieving, right? And and their emotional pain, grieving isn't a broken wire where the brain's not working right because there's something wrong, illness, right? I'm making a metaphor with the broken wire that it's illness versus hey, there's been some stuff going on and we got to work through it. And so we go quickly to the VA when it's what I'm referring to as a broken wire, or the grieving is so severe that it's likely to cause a broken wire. And but we have 4 pillars we consider the things we manage. The first thing is get their health managed, among which is mental health. You hit that one first, and you're absolutely right. The next one is find them an income, and sometimes that has to be welfare, but most of them prefer to have a job and feel like they're accomplishing something. It's not always easy to do. The third one is get them mobile. If they can't get back and forth to work or get to the doctor once you move them out of the homeless shelter, and I probably should have clarified, I'm talking about the homeless shelter, our version of case management. It's not the same as the clinicians, but it's ours, and has worked for us. It's kept our recidivism rate down. And the last one is have them make a life plan. And so we have them do our retreat program as part of their get their life in order, how they want to live, so they can lead themselves through life after they leave us. And so far it's worked pretty well when there's not a bottle involved or some other significant. What addicts do when they celebrate is they party. And so one of our biggest challenges has been if I take you and I do your VA claim while you're living in the homeless shelter, and all of a sudden you get $50,000 in back pay from the VA because you had significant disabilities, our experience is we have to be on top of that right away. Like, hey Jake, that's really cool. You got that. Let's sit down and think about this and make a plan, because we don't take over the money. That's not our place. But we learned that the hard way.
Up our arm.
Yeah, well, that happens. And
I'm
they
sure
run out and drop big piles of money on cars they don't know how to drive, and drive this brand new car that when they haven't driven in 15 years to a bar, get shit faced and wreck it on the way home has happened. We had one go buy a car, then drive it. He went with his sister. His sister took him to buy a small Nissan pickup truck, and he hugs her and drives away, and then went and got something. I don't know exactly which drug it was, but drove back to our homeless shelter, went upstairs, and first time he had money in years, and he was dead the next morning. And those are the hard case stories. But we have 120 success stories to go with our 2 or 3 hard case stories. So we learned the hard way when that big chance to start over financially comes. You got to be on top of it to make sure they don't do something foolish. But it's been exciting to watch when they succeed, and frustrating when they can't get out of their own way. But it is a very interesting journey, and it is much different than I thought when I started it. And but if anybody ever wanted to come out and volunteer or donate some blue jeans, I never have enough blue jeans or any kind of jeans for that matter to give to the homeless vets out in the streets. They don't have washers. They'll wear a pair of pants for 2 weeks, and then it'll be, you might as well peel it off them. It's full of holes and so dirty, you probably don't want to put in your wash machine anyway. So when we do our outreach stuff, we go through a lot of jeans, we go through a lot of hoodies, we go through a lot of socks, we go through a lot of underwear, go through a lot of shoes. And but if you ever want to come out and hand some things out, you're welcome to join us. We're coming up this Saturday. I guess tomorrow we'll be in Lehighton, and Saturday we'll be down in Lehigh Valley. We'll be east in Bethlehem, Allentown, and then the first Sunday we'll be out in Hazleton, which isn't many days after that. And anyway, we're plenty of opportunities if you want to get out and help us help some homeless vets. And I got to tell you, at those outreach events, it's tough to get the vets to be trusting enough to come in. So we open them to the homeless as a whole, and we get twice as many vets in the group if we open it to the homeless as a whole than we do if we just do vets. And we learned that the hard way too. So, if we did it for homeless veterans, we'd get 2, 3. And when we opened it to anybody in the homeless and used the homeless kind of, I hate to call them bait, but the regular homeless people, we get 11, 12, 14 every city we go to every time. And it's a huge difference. And we want to help as many vets as we can. If that's what we got to do to help more vets, then then damn it, that's what we'll do. So.
All right.
Now, Mark, with all the people that you help and they get back on their feet, do any of them actually come back and work with you again to help the next guy?
Some do, but there's a reality I can't escape. It's that once you've had such a hard punch to your life that you end up homeless, the climb out of indigence or being destitute is a very difficult climb, and you're usually not. I can't put them in a position where they're making $60,000 a year and completely where they don't have a lot of worries. Everything's managed. They're still at the level you get them to, from off the street to, you're housed, right? And you got a little income. You're a little bit mobile. The car breaks, it sets them way back. And so they're usually still living, they're still usually struggling to some degree for some time. And it's although I have to correct something you said earlier, the one paid employee, we had a philanthropist take a close look at what we do. And he hired us 2 people to do the furniture because all our volunteers were too old to carry it. And he added 2 people to the staff for the homeless shelter, and he covers it, and we just benefit from it. So you can make an argument we have 5 paid now, but but somebody else pays them for all intents and purposes. So it's kind of a strange line. But the people we hired are all from one of our programs or another, because if we're gonna pay people now that we have enough depth of people out there that we've worked with, it seems that the right thing to do is when we're funding labor and insight, we try to do it from people that have benefited from the program so they understand it. And so with that as the lead in, the house manager and the assistant house manager of the homeless shelter are both graduates of the homeless shelter and graduates of the Veterans Unstoppable program, and they're doing a pretty good job. So we're proud to help them get whoever we can to get building blocks and walk up the stairs of life or climb the ladder of life. But I will tell you, we've probably not had one go to 6 figures after they left us, and then have enough slack in their own personal time to come reinvest volunteer time back with us. I wish there was more of it. I would like the graduates to come back and mentor the ones that live there at a higher rate. Hey, look, man, I did it. You can do it too. Hey, girlfriend, I did it. You can do it too. And we don't get as much as I would like, but we do get some.
I think we got one of our listeners. He's probably in the local area around somewhere. Frank DeMith. Did you ever make it down to Chambersburg or Hagerstown?
I would. If he'd find me a place to set up, I'd figure out how to come. Not far from Chambersburg I'm a Roy Rogers aficionado. I love that damn fast food restaurant, and there's one in Chambersburg. I'd go there just to eat a roast beef sandwich and help us homeless people with them.
Well, Frank, you got the answer here. So you know how to get the info, get in touch with Mark, and get something like that set up and let us know how that goes. Mark, this hour has just flown by.
That's because my computer crashed.
Well, not just that. You gave us a lot of great information and talking about the programs and everything, which is really just helping a whole lot of people. So it was very educational to me personally.
Yeah, and folks, the name is Mark Baylis. The organization is the VALOR Clinic Foundation. It can be found at valorclinic.org. If you need information on it, info@valorclinic.org. And all that is right there on that website. And I will say again, they are very, very transparent about what they do and what they're doing, who they're helping, why they're helping. And it's a great organization. And hey, it's all about helping other people, helping vets, helping people not take that easy solution to, permanent solution to to that hard problem, we want you around for another day. Which brings me to, if you're feeling the darkness and you don't think that you want to be around tomorrow, you think that you're a drag on your family or a drag to society or stuff, pick up that phone.
Or show up. I got a bed for your ass.
Or show up to Mark. He's got a bed. Dial 988. Take option 1 if you're a veteran. Talk to somebody. If you don't get the answers that you're looking for there, hit me up at Jake at the Misfit Nation. Hit Steven up at Steven at the Misfit Nation, and give us a phone number to call you. We will call you, and
anytime.
We'll let you talk about your problems. So, Mark, got one more question for you.
Okay.
We need to know 3 non-negotiables that you have, that Mark has every morning when he gets up. What's 3 things that have to happen to make your day complete?
I got to have a cup of hot tea with honey and milk. And I got to figure out what my calendar is going to be, because my day's reactionary usually. And,
okay.
I got to check in with the people that give me good advice. Those are the 3 main things, and they'll help start steering the ship for the day, because no 2 are the same. And hope that was a good answer.
Hey,
every answer is a good answer.
Every answer is a good answer, because
yes.
Well, it's just like we was in the military. When you was in the military, you ain't going to do it until unless the S3 shop says you're going to do it, right?
There's some truth to that. Yeah.
Well, hey, Misfit Nation, ToosDay Crue, thank you for hanging out with us. Mark, thank you for hanging out with us. Don't forget.
I hope I was a good teammate.
Oh, yes, you was. And check out the Misfit Nation on Rees Across America Radio at 3 p.m. Eastern on Mondays. We're there. And thank you for coming and hanging out for another episode of the ToosDay Crue. Steven?
Mark, thank you. Thank you for not saying, who the hell is this guy, and just blowing me off when I emailed you. You actually texted and we chatted. You were like, who the hell is this guy? You went with it, and I appreciate that. And you came on the show and hung out with us. We learned a lot about you and what you do. I think it's very great.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you. And hey, if you ever make it down around Fort Campbell, stop in and look us up.
I went to Afghanistan from Fort Campbell and Iraq twice from Fort Campbell.
All right. Well,
I've only been back once. We did a retreat outside of Fort Campbell, between Campbell and Nashville out there a couple of years ago. One of my Army friends put it together. It's a small class, but we did one down there, and then he moved away and we didn't do another one.
Well, hey, if you ever do anything like that again, hit us up, because 2 of us live right there close. So
nice.
And actually work on Fort Campbell. So yeah, we are there. Well, hey, Mark, you have a great evening. Steven, I'll see you next week.
Yes, sir. Thank you again, Mark. Jake, everybody, have a great night.
All right.
Love you.
Thanks for checking us out and being a part of the Misfit Nation show. Don't forget to visit our website at themisfitnation.com. That's themisfitnation.com. Check out all our past episodes and get some of the great Misfit Nation gear for you and your family. As always, be humble, stay hungry, and keep hustling, because we are
Misfit Nation. Misfit Nation.
Every minute your finance team spends wrestling with data is a minute lost. Insight Software's AI-powered insights instantly move you from complexity to clarity. Automated analysis, real-time reporting, strategic recommendations, all at your fingertips. Transform how your finance team works and watch your business grow. Stop wasting time. Start making smarter decisions. Learn more at insightsoftware.com/AI.